And I got a call from my manager about taking the boxing fight with Pulev. And I was like, oh, well, fuck, I'm injured. I almost said something. I was like, well, how much? And then they told me it was about $1 million. I was like, yeah, I'll take it. And so then my wife was like, what are you going to do? I'm like, well, it's not that bad because I could still, it's boxing, grappling technique. It's not, we'll see, But then like every workout, it got detrimentally worse and worse. By the time the week of the fight came, I couldn't lift a towel up. Like I was brushing, doing everything with my left hand. My right hand, I probably could curl a bath towel about 4 times before I couldn't curl it anymore. In fact, during the standoffs on one of the first days, he went to shake my hand, he pulled, and of course it's my right hand to shake hands, and like I had no ability to pull my arm back. I was like, fuck, he's gonna know, that my arm is shot. And so the next day when we had a face off, I turned away and walked off, and everybody's like, oh, like showmanship. Like, well, no, I just don't want him to feel how weak my arm is. He can drag me all over the stage. I can't fight back. I couldn't outcurl my, my 12-year-old now. Even picking a phone up to my face, I couldn't do it. So what I did to compensate in the fight was I switched to fight purely right-handed. I was like, I'll just put my left side forward, it'll be all right. Not knowing and not thinking, it's like, well, the way I block a left hook is I cover my ear. And, I probably should have trained some different tactics. And I did and tried to do some rolls, but my natural instinct took over. So every time I left hook come, I wanted to lift my arm and it didn't lift. Oh. So I just kept, I took a lot of bad shots and then actually made the neck injury much worse. When I went to the hospital afterwards, they almost didn't let me leave because I guess I fractured C6 because, again, with no cartilage, there was no movement. So when I got hit, it actually caused a fracture through it. So I broke my neck. And so they were like, if you get turbulence or, anything, you get rear-ended on the way home right now, you'll be paralyzed. You'll be done. I mean, you could have been paralyzed in the fight. So that was more or less what I was dealing with that. So about the following Tuesday, I seen the surgeon, and now we're back. And so,
do you remember anything from that fight?
Oh,
Because you were knocked out on your feet.
No, yeah, no. I mean, it's foggy, but yeah, I was still, until.
The call is so interesting to me. Like, I think the announcer's saying what we were all thinking. Like, what's Murgliata doing? Like, you look like you were knocked out, and the fight just kept going.
Yeah, no, I took some hard shots. I just didn't want to go to my butt. I was sitting there like, all right, kind of like a moral, victory. I was like, I'm just not gonna, I'm not going down. You know what I mean? Like, which in hindsight, taking the fight with the injury, I probably should have just, after, hey, give it your good college try, go out there, and if it's not looking good, just, I don't think I'd have lost anything just taking a knee on one of those shots.
You were basically a one-arm fighter in that fight.
Yeah.
Did you think you had any chance of winning it?
Yeah, that's the ego still. Right?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was like, well, still you can catch and land a shot. You know what I mean? And
puncher's chance, right?
Puncher's chance. Yeah. If I could just land one and just get the fight going that direction, but still, I wanted to go out there. I had my kids even corner me to show them that like life doesn't always just line up for you, And just because I didn't go out there, and the reason why I didn't take a knee just off of one shot, because I think that looks cowardly. Like, hey, you took the fight injured. You honestly didn't think you could win. And if I said, well, no, I knew I couldn't win. I just went out there for a paycheck. I think that's, almost criminal. But my point was like, well, no, I still felt like there was a chance. I could have pulled it off. And I'm going to try to find a way, even though if the odds are stacked against me, which is life. There's times you look at a situation, it's like, hey, man, the odds are not in your favor. It doesn't mean you quit. It's like, all right, well, odds are not in my favor. Guys have succeeded with worse odds,
Yeah, and people not knowing the full circumstances around this thought like because you weren't blocking that you just threw the fight. That's what people thought.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't really.
Well, I mean, and I guess it makes sense if you can't raise your right arm to do anything.
Yeah, no, I wasn't trying to prove anything by taking shots from Pulev. He hits pretty hard, obviously. No, I just, the signal to my brain, like when people were asking me, well, what was it like? I'm like, oh, it got to the point where actually the pain went away because all the nerves were so compressed. But it was like when you said to move your arm, I was like, it'd be like me telling you to move the microphone. Like, okay, move it. You're like, what do you mean? Like, look at the microphone and make it move. I'm like, it ain't moving. You know what I mean?